ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, maybe a little cleaner driving and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever since. I think the things I like the most about the ISCA is it's a developmental league, but it's also a league that's got some veteran drivers. And I think really what I was looking to do was try to surround myself with some people to better my talent, my skill, and my craft. And that's one thing the ISCA has really delivered. It's got great quality drivers. You learn how to race in close quarters around some of these other people. And I think the other thing, when you do look at the developmental side, once I joined the ISCA, my I rating has soared, my safety rating is better than it's ever been. And it's also really great to see drivers that join our league, really excel over time, some of which stay with the league and some that maybe move on to some bigger things, which is really exciting. We have a great history of developing drivers. We have a great alumni list. But I just really enjoy, participating in the league and just continue to get better each week that goes by. Yeah, the competition in the ISCA is awesome. I think a lot of us talk about it, each week of just how blessed we are to have such a high level of driving capabilities and just a quality group of drivers overall. And I think that's just still, I think the thing I like the most about the ISCA. You build a lot of friendships, a lot of camaraderie. We're really competitive on Thursday and Saturday nights, but it's really fun also after the race to kind of review the race start to finish. And we do a lot of coaching about what's working, what's not working. Not saying we give away all of our secrets, but I think anyone that joins it, there's a common theme. A, they get better each week, their I rating goes up. We see them in strength of field races over time, week in, week out. And that's just something that's really fun. Even though we compete, we really appreciate the league we participate in. And I think in most cases, we're highly competitive with some of the best and cleanest drivers on the service. And if you like long green flag runs, we don't have a lot of cautions in our races. We tend to have green flag pit stops. But those are just some things that I really enjoy about the league the most, is the quality of the competition, the lack of cautions, and just the long runs that really leads to some really awesome racing. Yeah, I think people that should join the ISCA are people like myself. When I go back a few years ago and I was really looking to up my game and get involved in open setup league racing, for so long I just wasn't involved in that because I just didn't, I didn't seek it out, but I really didn't also know how to get started. And once I started doing research, it was a really easy choice that the ICA was a place I really wanted to be and get involved with. And all those things I talked about earlier have happened to me, from improving I rating, improving my skill. And, I'm someone that I really enjoy the ICA. I'll probably stay there, but don't think that, if you're coming to the ICA, that it's something long-term. That in some cases you can find a long-term home like a lot of us, but we develop drivers, and ultimately we'd like to see our drivers participate for a period of time and hopefully move their way up the ranks, whether that be into Road to Pro or Contender Series, or hopefully get to the Coke Series. That's really the goal of what we want to be, is an established league with great drivers, but also a league that's going to develop drivers into bigger and better things.
Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series here at Kansas Speedway. Of course, we saw a action-packed race on Thursday night, and I expect no different here tonight. Of course, this mile-and-a-half track is a very unique racetrack that is more top-centric from what we see at a lot of other mile-and-a-half tracks. Of course, aero is going to be very, very important, but we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Of course, to the ISCA, we have, I do believe, about 12 drivers going to be making the grid here tonight, and a little bit different cars than what we saw on Thursday. Of course, some of the same familiar characters will be out here. Of course, Greg Wychinski, Randy Mullins, Kenny Powell, Derek Jacobs, to name a few. Of course, Jose Acosta as well. It looks like Chris Johnson actually going to make his way out here as well. Hopefully he does something out here. Paul Olson as well. So, but we do have some guys that usually don't compete on Thursday out here as well. Joey Preby out here. Frank Flores, I don't think he was here on Thursday. Of course, or should I say Kendall LeVron, definitely has been showing a lot of speed as well. Of course, qualifying has begun. My name is Brian Britt, just to introduce myself. Of course, definitely excited to call this race here and see what these guys have in store for us. Of course, Kenny Powell, I know he's going to be one that is really going to be looking for some sense of redemption here. He did have a major spill, I'd say, in the first stage, towards the end of the first stage, I should say. And he actually got loose out of turn 2 and went down into the inside wall with a very hard hit that put him, I do believe, over 20 laps down. So he's going to be definitely trying to, I'd say, have a little bit of a redemption arc here tonight. Let's take a look at some of the race facts in this evening's action. Taking a look at that right there on your screen. This is the RockAuto 250 at Kansas, as I've said multiple times. 167 laps on the docket here tonight. Of course, stages 35 and 75. Of course, that means the stage will end at a lap 36, essentially, when they cross the line. 10th place car has to cross the line first. Before that, yellow flag does fly. 5 sets of tires, 4 actually down in the pits. Now, tires were something that I think was a little bit of a point of contention on Thursday, where we did see some guys, on a little bit of interesting strategies. I think at the end of the race, there were some guys that did not have a set left. Of course, the fuel window is 60 laps, give or take, depending on if you're in the draft or not, or how hard you're driving the race car. And I do want to circle back to those tires. That is going to be a very important thing here tonight. Of course, Kansas, for the first few laps, you're going to be able to really drive it hard. But after a while, tire wear is going to be significant, and it all depends on which line you run, which, of course, means running the bottom or the top could definitely equal burning the tires up, different sets of tires, whether it be the rear or the front. Of course, if you drive it on the top of the racetrack, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that actually wears the fronts out more. Taking a look at the Super Cup points at the moment, Chris Severa at the top of the board with 8 wins. He has definitely been the dominant factor here this season, but I don't think he's actually going to be here tonight. Of course, he does have quite a big of a points buffer, 107 points over Jose Acosta, who's in second, so I'm so sure Jose is going to see if he can't possibly take advantage of that here tonight. Kenny Powell sits in third in the points, Kendall LeVron in fourth with 1 win, Greg Wychinski in fifth, Frank Flores sixth, Paul Olson seventh, Gary Adamson's in 8th. Austin Derbyshire in 9th. Haven't seen him compete, I don't believe, in the last couple of weeks. Joey Preby in 10th. Of course, he is out here, so we'll have to see what he's able to do. And we only got a quick moment here, but taking a look at the Cup Series points. Of course, Chris Severa at the top of that board as well. 63 point over Jose Acosta, who's in second. Kenny Powell up to third in this one. Kendall LeVron's in fourth. Gary Adamson fifth. Greg Wychinski is in, I do believe, sixth place. Frank Flores seventh. Paul Olson's in eighth. Austin Derbyshire in ninth. Justin Levine, who I don't believe is going to be competing in tonight's race, is back there in 10th. Of course, he has been running somewhat of a part-time season this season. But definitely excited to see what these guys have in store for us. With that, I think we'll go ahead and take a step away, play our national anthem, and we'll be right back with your starting grid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Who broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engine!
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Pay too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to RockAuto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we have the starting grid lineup all set and ready to go. Jose Acosta going to be starting on the pole here. Kendall LeVron starts in second place. Of course, third place, I do believe, is going to be none other than Kenny Powell. Randy Mullins is going to be starting in fourth place. Frank Flores starts in fifth. Greg Wychinski in sixth. Seventh place, Chris Johnson. Eighth place, of course, Darren Mullins. Ninth place, Derek Jacobs. 10th place, Joey Preby. 11th place, Paul Olson, and rounding out this 12-car field is Gary Adamson. But here we go. We are rolling. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get them going for the first time here tonight at Kansas. This is definitely going to be some excitement. Of course, we saw some 3 wide on Thursday. I expect, even though we're a little bit of a lighter field count here, I think we're still going to see possibly some 3 wide racing here tonight. Of course, here we go. Pace car has head down pit road. And Jose Acosta enters the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out for the first time here. Pretty tame restart there from Jose. Not really able to get a big jump on Kendall LeVron. Let's see if he's able to clear him into turn number 1. Of course, top line is the dominant line here around Kansas. You see Kendall already getting a pretty good run up top. Riding right through the middle of the track. You got to keep in mind there is a bump in 1 and 2. Kenny Powell has gotten clear of Randy Mullins. Oh, and there goes Kendall LeVron almost getting turned by Jose Acosta. 28's not going to be too happy about that. Still side by side for the lead. What a save, though, for Kendall LeVron. That could have easily turned out a lot worse than it did. But he is going to, I do believe, fall back into the 4th place position. Falls right behind Randy Mullins. Kenny Powell, new leader here on lap number 2. Does he make it to the start-finish line to actually lead this lap? Kenny Powell, of course, we talked about him before. He is looking for some redemption here as he takes the top side. They're going to be side-by-side crossing the line. I think Kenny Powell will lead that lap. That was a close one. I think maybe Jose might have got that lap. Side by side for the lead. Powell using that top side. He's in the middle of the track. There's a bump up there that does loosen the car up quite a bit. But he's able to fight through it. Still side by side for the lead. Randy Mullins, of course, was very fast on Thursday. Definitely got to keep that in mind. He was one of those guys that was on the older tires and still was able to keep up with the rest of the field. So I expect a lot from that 54 here tonight. Frank Flores doing a fine job right now, sitting in that 5th place position. Of course, he's being chased, I do believe, by Chris Johnson. Greg Wychinski was another strong driver on Thursday. If I'm not mistaken, he actually finished in 2nd place. So expect him to come from the back, possibly to the front. But Jose, of course, battling it out with Randy Mullins. Mullins trying to make something happen on the top here. Powell going to be, I think, enveloped in just a second as you see Jose all over the back bumper of the 24. Take a nice cockpit camera here through Kendall LeVron's eyes. You can see a lot of movement going on right in front of him. He's got a lot of good vision. Randy Mullins barely getting clear of Jose. You see Kendall starting to look underneath the 42. Still side by side for second. Randy Mullins trying to make that top side work. Had a very fast race car on Thursday. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to make something happen as he gets a good run out of turn 2. Gets clear of Jose Acosta. These guys are racing hard. Here comes Randy Mullins for the lead. Kendall LeVron also on the back bumper there. Jose, not enough room. See Kendall trying to keep, or I should say Jose trying to keep Kendall from being able to get underneath him. But I don't think Kendall's going to take no for an answer, just considering on the first lap of the race, these guys did have a little bit of contact. But here comes Randy Mullins, still side by side for the lead. Kenny Powell up on the top side. Of course, everyone's still on the lead lap here. Paul Olson back in the back. Greg Wychinski seems to have decided to go back to 11th place right now. Verging on possibly 3 wide for the lead as Jose Acosta looks for a lane, not able to find it. And what a race this has been for the top spot. These top 4 all right here on top of each other. You also see Chris Johnson has made his way by Frank Flores and now is up to 5th. He's going to see if he can't chase these guys down. Side by side, though, for 3rd place, as I do believe we see Kendall LeVron making the move up top. Also, Jose Acosta all the way up to the wall. He almost gets into it. He's going to get a good run just because he didn't hit that wall. He was able to really rock it off the corner. Side by side once again for the lead. Here comes Jose Acosta to the bottom. Kenny Powell not trying to give him a whole lot of room. You see Kendall LeVron ripping around the seam of the top. And here comes Kendall. Kendall's going to get a really great exit out of 2. Kenny Powell, though, still in control at the moment. Can he keep it? We know he had a really loose condition on Thursday out of turn number 2. Is he going to have possibly problems like that again? So far, so good. The racing is definitely heating up, though. I do believe as we have 25 laps to go here in this stage when we cross the line this next time by. Kendall LeVron still ripping it around the top. And he is going to get cleared for 2nd place over Jose Acosta. Now Acosta under fire once again from the 54, Randy Mullins. Here comes Kendall LeVron. He is ripping around the top. So fast up there. Really able to just have a lot more on throttle time up at the top of the racetrack. Of course, it's very easy to hit that wall when you're that close at Kansas. But that is definitely the fast way around this place. Now, we have heard a lot about guys burning their tires up driving up there for too long, but it looks like Kendall's car is handling well. He goes to the bottom, and he is going to pull a slide job in 3 and 4, and he slides right up in front of Kenny Powell, and he's going to take the lead. Kenny Powell tries to get the crossover, but Kendall LeVron shuts the door. Almost some bump drafting there on the front stretch. Powell now to the inside. Can he pull the slide job off? 12 laps complete. Coming up to lap 13 as Randy Mullins still battles with Jose Acosta. Of course, Acosta now in 3rd place. Of course, we see Chris Johnson has entered the fray as well. Also, Frank Flores not too far back as well. I think this 4-car battle has just become a 5-car battle. Kendall LeVron, your leader, driving right around the top. You see Jose trying to match that same lap to see if he can't possibly utilize that top side to find the success that LeVron has. Now the top 5, all in a line. But for how long? Here comes Powell to the inside. Taking a look at lap times at the moment. Of course, looks like Kendall LeVron last time by was one of the fastest cars on the track, but the fastest car on the track was actually, I do believe, was Frank Flores. So a lot of drivers starting to really, I think, get a lot of speed in these race cars. Tires should be up to temp. Kendall LeVron trying to go for the stage points. Of course, these stage points are so important to these drivers, just considering a lot of times we say it week in and week out, when you get a stage win or you get enough stage points, a lot of times that can actually outweigh the actual victory for the entire race. So a lot of these drivers, that really ups the intensity when it comes to trying to get stage points. But I think Kendall might have it secured. He's got the clean air. Kansas clean air is very important, especially when the tires start to wear. But Kenny Powell not going to give up. He's driving around more in the middle groove here. You can do that. You're going to have a problem staying off that wall, and you can see just a little kiss from Kenny Powell onto the wall. Jose Acosta now going to be starting to pressure that 24 machine. Yeah, I think that Kenny's trying to run the bottom, but I think he's having a hard time getting it to stay down there. And you're going to have that, especially on the older tires. A lot of drivers have been swearing to using the bottom more than anything. Looking back, of course, we saw Greg Wyszynski was all the way back in 11th. He has now fought his way up to 7th place, got by Gary Adamson and Darren Mullins. Now we see Darren Mullins, of course, trying to work on Gary Adamson right now. I think he's going to get that pass. Top 5, still all on top of each other here. Chris Johnson has made the pass on Randy Mullins, now up to 4th place. Kendall LeVron, a fixture cemented up on the top right now. But Kenny Powell still sticking with him. I don't think Kendall LeBron is going to be able to run away here at Kansas until the tires really start to wear. Here comes Powell once again, going to try to go to the bottom. See, really loose condition there from Jose Acosta off of turn 2. That's something we saw Kenny Powell deal with quite a bit on Thursday. But here comes Powell to the inside. Now going to be side by side for the lead. Looks like he got a little bit tight there on the bottom, not able to really maintain the momentum. Looks like Kendall LeBron going to get out to his biggest lead yet. Now about 4/10 is his lead. Because of the little bit of a bobble that Kenny Powell had, that's going to give possibly a chance here to Jose Acosta. Acosta up on the top side. He has definitely gotten used to running up there. Chris Johnson trying to follow in his tire track. Of course, very difficult to run that top side, especially when the tire wear and, of course, the dirty air really starts to impact the handling of the race car. A lot of blocking going on. You see Kenny Powell trying to keep Jose behind him. Jose all the way up to the top. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to block, especially with all the pressure that Chris Johnson's putting on Jose right now. Coming up here to 15 laps to go here in stage number 1. Big loose condition from Kenny Powell right in front of his teammate, Chris Johnson. Johnson's able to avoid. And that is going to put Kenny Powell, I do believe, back into 5th position. So that is unfortunate. Go from leading the race back to 5th, but luckily the 6th place car is a little under 3 seconds back. Of course, who that person is Greg Wachinski. Frank Flores has fallen out of the top 6. As we mentioned before, Wachinski was a top 3 driver on Thursday, finished 2nd place. So I would expect after stage 1 is complete, he's going to be in there and ready to go. You see Joey Preby also battling a little bit further back here, I do believe, with Darren Mullins. Haven't talked a whole lot about that Sim Seats machine in the 16. Starting to put some pressure here on Darren. Of course, Darren did show some speed on Thursday as well, but it looks like maybe some adjustments gone wrong. Going to be definitely wanting to work on that race car when the yellow flag comes out. Kendall LeBron now out to almost a 2nd lead as here comes Chris Johnson. Going to be seeing if he can't get up to Jose. Side by side for 2nd for just a moment. But it looks like Jose is holding on to it for now. Here comes Johnson again to the inside. Into 3 and 4. He's going to see if he can't pull the slide job. I don't think he's going to be able to get it done. Jose's going to have too much momentum on the exit of 4, I should say. No, it looks like Johnson is able to slide it up in front. But the momentum, though, causes him to have to get out of the gas. Still side by side now for 2nd place. Jose still committed to running the top side. As we're coming now to 10 laps to go in the stage, Jose able to defend. That top line is really the ultimate defending line. Wondering what's going on with Randy Mullins. He looks like he's just not as quick as he was on Thursday. Really had a very significant long run. But I do remember we interviewed him on Thursday, and he did say something about his mid-run was lacking. That he had a really good short run, really good long run, but in the mid-run, there was about a 10-lap period where that car just was not handling well, and I think he's in that right now. Side by side, though, Joey Preby trying to see if he can't get the pass completed on the 64 of Darren Mullins. He's going to also try to slide up, and it looks like he's going to get that pass completed. For now, oh, this is going to be tight. Looks like Joey Preby does slide up. Darren Mullins not going to be too happy. Now, we did see on Thursday that any driver that was able to really get a lead always seemed to come back to the rest of the pack. So I think Kendall, you can see even on your screen right now that the distance, the lap, should I say the distance in between 1st and 2nd is decreasing at the moment. Jose is catching up to Kendall. So Kendall might have possibly burned his equipment up a little bit or maybe slowed down to maybe cool his tires. That could definitely be a possibility as well. He has been running up on the top, it seems like, the entire run here. We're now 27 laps in, and tire wear definitely is significant. Let's see what lap times look like. Yeah, lap times have fallen off dramatically. Of course, last time we looked at them, they were in a little low 31-second laps. Now we're in the high 31s. A lot of drivers are even in the 32-second lap range. Oh, wow, last time by, it looks like Joey Preview might have had a little bit of a slower lap there. 34-second lap. I'm wondering what happened to him. Could it have been possibly some contact with him and Darren Mullins? I know those kind of guys were dueling it out before. Yeah, but I think it is true. Kendall is getting caught by Jose Acosta. He is now about 8/10 away. Was 7/10 for a second. So I think Jose seems like he's got a really good long run car in that, a long run setup, I should say. See, Kendi Powell has fallen now back to 3 seconds behind the leader, so he's going to be definitely wanting to make some adjustments. Also, Greg Wyszynski has caught up to Randy Mullins. He's going to be going, I do believe, up to 5th place. Makes a really good move there to the inside of Mullins, and he takes that spot. Also, Gary Adamson's not looking too bad right now. He's catching up to Mullins as well. I think that Mullins is really struggling. These guys got to figure out that mid-run. Because I know that, yeah, you got a really good fast car on the short run and the long run, but you have to have that mid-run. Anytime you lose there, you're going to be really scrambling to try to get that back. Look at that. We saw Kendall LeBron, of course, was getting caught by Jose Acosta. No longer. Now it's over a second lead, 1.3 to be exact. I think what we saw there could be that Jose, a lot of times with these next gens, they're so aero dependent, especially with these giant spoilers on the back of these machines. When you get closer to that car in front of you, especially when the tires start to wear, it really upsets the handling because these cars rely so heavily on that downforce, especially when the tires are worn out. And when you get in that wake and that air is not hitting that spoiler as much as it was before, that car can a lot of times break loose or possibly even get tight. It really just depends on the balance of your race car. Well, he did gain a lot that time around, though. But he is in that point to where the wake of Kendall LeBron's car is going to start impacting him. You see a little bit loose off of 2 there. Almost got into the wall. And that could be what we call push loose, which is something where your car is kind of too tight. And a lot of times it's so tight that where it gets loose out on the exits. A lot of times you see that. So he might be tight in the center and then gets loose off. And we go, though, coming to 2 laps to go here in stage 1. And I think it's all said and done for Kendall. I think he might have this stage 1 in the books. Of course, Chris Johnson still on the rear end there of Jose Acosta. Anything could still happen. Tell you what, Greg Wyszynski's really fast. Gary Adamson looking really good as well. He's been catching up to the leader. He's been running some really good laps right now. Also, Paul Olsen looking really good. He's in 9th place. I mean, that might not look like much, but I think Olsen's got a really good long run, machine there. He doesn't really burn the tires up early. And I even heard him say before the race kind of began, before the broadcast, he kind of said that, hey, if we didn't have stages in this race, I think I'd be a real threat for the victory. But here we go, final lap of stage 1. Really big loose condition there for Kendall LeBron off of turn number 2. He's got about 6/10 back to Jose Acosta. Also, Greg Wyszynski, I think he might make a pass for 4th here. You see that they're actually side by side at the moment. And Kendall LeBron will be your stage 1 winner. They are battling for 2nd place. Of course, we have to wait for the 10th place car of Frank Flores to cross the line for caution flag does fly. Oh, big wiggle there for Chris Johnson. Yellow flag is out. And I think Jose Acosta holds on to 2 just barely. But Kendall LeBron. No, I think, yeah, Chris Johnson might have gotten it. We're going to see what happens when these guys cross the line. I think Johnson did. When the time of the caution, I think he was in front of Jose. So Kendall LeBron, your stage 1 winner. Chris Johnson, of course, 2nd place. Jose Acosta in 3rd. Greg Wyszynski finishes in 4th. Kenny Powell in 5th. Gary Adamson 6th. Randy Mullins in 7th. Darren Mullins in 8th. 9th place, Paul Olson, and 10th, Frank Flores. With that, we'll take a quick step away, and we'll come back and we'll talk to our Stage 1 victor.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Alrighty, we are back, and we're joined in the booth by none other than our Stage 1 winner, Kendall LeBron. You definitely had a little bit of a tricky first lap there, but you managed to recover well, and you fought your way back up into the lead there for the conclusion of Stage 1. It looked like you were ripping around the top. How's that car feeling?
Pretty good. Turn 3, it feels kind of tight. I kind of hit the wall a little bit, so Jose and Chris were able to gain a couple tenths on me after I did that, but I was able to compose myself and focus and try to not hit the wall again, and able to pick up this stage win.
Yeah, definitely a great job for sure. How's Kansas been treating you? What are the keys you think to actually winning the full race here? I mean, I know the final stage is going to be a little bit different than these stage 1 and 2.
Patience, and it's hard to explain because I barely race this track. I'm not a big fan of it, but just be patient. Don't kill yourself or the tires, and you'll be good for the rest of the race. Just pace yourself instead of just race the track, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely easier said than done, considering you got a whole lot of other drivers that are willing to definitely be aggressive and make moves for sure. But definitely wish you the best of luck. Who can we give a shout out to before we let you get back to it?
Shout out to Team Watson Racing setups. Man, Kenny put out a good setup this week. A lot of guys that are racing using the setup picked up a couple of wins, and I was able to pick up 1 win as well. So shout out to Team Watson.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Kendall. Good luck to you. We'll let you get back to it.
Info.
Alrighty, that was Kendall LeBron, our stage 1 winner. Here comes the green flag. And there we go. Geico restart zone, green flag back out once again. Pretty good restart there for Kendall LeBron. Really good restart there for Chris Johnson. He is almost being bump drafted into turn number 1, though, by Jose Acosta. Here comes Kenny Powell up on the top. Of course, we saw him fall back, I do believe, the 5th place towards the end of stage 1. So he's going to really have to regroup and try not to burn those tires up. I think that's going to be the key here. Also see Greg Wyszynski a whole lot closer to the front than he was previously. Randy Mullins going to be seeing if he can't possibly work his way back up into the top 5. And it looks like he backs out of it a little bit. Might still, yeah, he's going to go side by side with Wyszynski. Here comes Johnson to the top. Of course, Jose Acosta has moved up to 2nd place. Oh, Randy Mullins getting extremely close to Greg Wyszynski. These guys are racing each other very tight. Chinsky, of course, as I mentioned several times here tonight, did finish second place on Thursday. Would not be surprised to see him possibly get another great finish here tonight. Of course, Mullins showed a lot of pace as well. I'm wondering if he possibly maybe made some adjustments to that race car. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in stage number 2. Of course, this one goes to lap 75. Well, technically, I'd say 76. Of course, once lap 76, once we start lap 76, the 10th place car will cross the line and the caution flag will fly once again for the conclusion of stage number 2. Jose Acosta putting some pressure on Kendall LeBron. Take a look through the cockpit camera here of Jose as he follows behind that 28 machine. Of course, Jose has had a lot of speed. He was catching up to Kendall towards the end of stage 1, but Chris Johnson was able to take advantage and finish second in stage 1. Look at the speeds these guys are hitting right now, 190 plus mile an hour on the straightaways. So there's a lot of off-throttle time at this racetrack. These guys have to lift in order to make these corners. Otherwise, you start to get really tight, go up into that outside wall. It's not something you want to do. And another point of contention in this racetrack is having to drop down there onto that apron on the front stretch. You don't have to. I shouldn't say you have to, but it is an option, unlike a lot of other racetracks. Of course, Kendall LeBron still in the lead right now. Randy Mullins is falling back still to 6th place, still trying to battle with Greg Wachinski. I think what gives him strength is that he's saving tire. Like, he's not really trying to drive it very hard at the moment. Can't really blame him. I think that saving tire is one of the big deals of this track. You know, you really want to be careful, save your resources. Clean air is very important, but of course, when these tires are fresh like they are, the clean air is not as much of your friend. Of course, it does help you save tire, but it also gives the guys behind you some draft in order to really get pulled along on these straightaways. Love this camera angle right here. Gets a really good view of the cars right behind Kendall and Ron. See, of course, Chris Johnson making a move up to the top side. Gets a big run out of turn 2. Gives a bump to Kendall. That's definitely going to send him into turn 3, probably a little faster than he wants to go. Also, all of this battling has brought Kenny Powell into this group. But here comes Chris Johnson. Now, Johnson was really fast on Thursday as well. Brother Brian was also extremely fast, but unfortunately he had heavy contact that took him out of the race prematurely. Now, Johnson was one that did survive to the end. And I'm not mistaken, I think he got like a 4th place finish. I can't recall exactly where he finished, but I know he did do well on Thursday. Still battling side by side for 2nd place, Jose Acosta. Oh, getting contact there. This is going to possibly be a 3-wide scenario, and it is. Kenny Powell to the bottom. 3x3 as they had some contact on the front stretch. I don't think they're done having contact here. As Randy Mullins is now in the picture. We almost even had 4 wide for a second there. Coming up to now 25 laps to go. Kendall LeBron back up to the top side. I like what I've been seeing from LeBron. He changed up his game plan from stage number 1. In stage 1, he was running the top the entire time. This time around, he ran for the first 10 to 15 laps kind of on the bottom, but now he has started to really progress up to the top as we see Kenny Powell now trying to work on his G&G teammate. Ooh, he slides up. That was close. Kenny Powell definitely putting a lot of pressure on his teammate, Chris Johnson. You see Powell. I think Powell is tight right now. And we did hear, he said that he made an adjustment to the race car before the race, a little bit of a tire pressure adjustment. Maybe went a little bit further on that as well during that last pit stop. Could that have caused his loose condition? And there he goes. Slide job on Chris Johnson. He gets loose out of the corner. Johnson, I think, cut him a big break there. Johnson all the way up to the top of the track, inches off of the wall. Randy Mullins now making his presence known. Yeah, and I really do like what I'm seeing from Wojcinski. I think he is so patient right now. He sees all these guys battling up here. He could easily get into this fray. But he's now, he's about 2 seconds back from the leader. I think he's doing this on purpose. He doesn't want to be involved if something goes wrong, which on Thursday we did see something go wrong in the first 2 stages. Now, I just think that he wants to save the tire. I really like that a lot. I think that's an important thing to do, and it's going to make him shine really brightly when it comes to that final stage. Kendall LeBrondo has led the most laps here so far tonight, has also won stage number 1. Of course, started on the outside pole. Kenny Powell now up into the 2nd place position. Still running a little bit of an interesting groove. And I think this is what's causing Kenny problems. He's not running low enough. At Kansas, it is a multi-groove track. You can run up the top, you can run on the bottom. But it's difficult to run in the middle. There's bumps in this track that really cause that car to not handle as well when you are a little bit more indecisive and try to run the middle. So if I was Kenny, I think that I would think about committing. Don't stay in the middle, because it seems like this is what's hurting him. It's almost like he's trying to have the best of both worlds, to run the bottom and to run the top at the same time, to be able to have speed and longevity on the tires. But I think it's not working. As here comes Jose Acosta all the way to the bottom. So he drives around. He chooses. He goes to the white line or he goes to the wall. I like that. He's committed. Here we go. Less than 20 laps to go here in stage number 2. Chris Johnson all the way up to the top of the track. Of course, contending at the moment with Randy Mullins. Jose Acosta now going to see if he can't possibly change things, change the results of, or should I say, have a different result than stage number 1. He's going to see if he can't chase down Kendall LeBron, but LeBron is now out to a half a second lead. Of course, last stage conclusion, we saw LeBron out finish with a little, I believe, around 6/10 back to Jose Acosta. But Jose was catching him towards the end of that stage. So would not be surprised if that be a possibility that Jose breaks through that barrier this time around and maybe does get up there to LeBron. Because, I mean, you can definitely see that John Deere Chevy there that Jose is driving is fast. He's got a fast race car. Of course, Chris Johnson has fallen back now to 5th place. And I think that he's also done things a little bit different in stage 1. He was really quick on the long run in stage 1 towards the end, and that's what allowed him to catch up to Jose Acosta and really take that 2nd spot away. But I think that he might have already burnt his equipment up a little bit here. I think he got a little bit too race happy in this stage 2. So a little bit of an opposite, I'd say, strategy from him. But you see Randy Mullins now starting to put some pressure on Powell. Yeah, I think Powell really did burn his equipment up as well, trying to run that middle groove. I think that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to commit as we're coming down to 15 laps to go. And Jose Acosta is really starting to catch up to LeBron. He's now under 4/10 away. Also side by side with Wojcinski, trying to see if he can't get back up into the top 5 and get past Chris Johnson. Of course, yep, Wachinski's going to get it done. And Wachinski's had, I think, the perfect strategy, in my opinion. He's been saving tire, I think, for the majority of the stage. And then all of a sudden, he just hits that go button. He flips the switch, and he starts to really move forward. I mean, you can see last lap, he was faster than everybody in front of him. He's going to catch up to Randy Mullins and Kenny Powell very, very soon. I think he's going to possibly be in the top 3 this time around. Lessons learned on Thursday. And, of course, we did hear some tragic news as well on Thursday that Greg Wachinski lost his mother. And I have no doubts that she is with him right now, guiding that race car. Definitely, if any of the Wachinski family is watching and supporting Greg Wachinski, our hearts go out to you. Just a terrible loss to lose your mother. I can't imagine what that feels like. I've lost my father, but I don't know what I would do if I lost my mother. That is for sure. Still side by side for third place. Randy Mullins on the top, and I'd say that is the best groove you want to be, or the best place you want to be. Oh, a little contact with the wall scares Greg Wachinski. I bet his heart rate went up a little bit there. Wachinski, though, up into fourth now, starting to put pressure on his G&G compatriot. Coming up on 12 laps to go here in stage 2. Here comes Wachinski, tries to drive it all the way down to the bottom. Now, I think that's what Wachinski's strength in as well. I know on Thursday, he was committed to running the bottom. All race long, he ran the bottom, essentially, unless he was forced to run higher in order to make a pass. But for the most part, he has been a bottom feeder type driver, and it's working for him. I think that allows him to save tires. So all these guys that are running really fast up on the top, yeah, they're able to be fast like that, but not forever. And I think that's why Greg is finding a lot of success. Now up into that third position, but he did get held back substantially. As you see, Jose Acosta is about a second and a half in front right now, still trying to catch up to Kendall LeBron. Still side by side. Chris Johnson now entering the fray as well, trying to get back up into the top 5. He's riding around on the top side. Definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series. Hopefully we had a wonderful Saturday. Hopefully we appreciate you joining us to watch some racing here on this lovely Saturday night. Make sure you like and subscribe to us. Catch all the action week in and week out. Definitely see a lot of movement, or should I say guys gaining some time here. And Jose Acosta is the one I'm speaking of. Looks like he's running the bottom in 1 and 2. And then running closer to the top in 3 and 4. I like this. He's kind of changing it up a little bit. And it seems like it's helping him. Whatever he's doing is working. As that John Deere is catching up really quickly up to Kendall LeBron. LeBron, of course, mentioned that he had a little bit of an issue hitting the wall in stage 1. If that happens again, this could really open the door wide open for Jose to steal a stage win. Of course, coming up, I do believe now to 8 laps. Oh, Jose getting incredibly close to the wall. He was only about an inch or so from hitting that wall. And that wall here will suck you right in. And, of course, him getting that close to the wall actually did slow him down a lot. And I think it was like I mentioned, he got so close to LeBron that the air off of LeBron's car was really disrupting his handling. Or should I say lack of air was really disrupting his handling. Greg Wachinski, of course, still up to third. Powell has recovered nicely, still up in fourth. He's not that far back from Wachinski. Gary Adamson, though, entering the fray. Side by side now with Chris Johnson. And he's going to see if he can't move his way up to 6th. I think he might be able to get this pass done. Can't even get Randy Mullins. Adamson has definitely been one of those guys that has improved substantially all season long. I shouldn't even say all season long. I should say for the years or so I've known him and been calling the ISCA, he's been improving. Still side by side, though, with Chris Johnson. think he's being a little cautious right now. He does not want to cause any accident here. Kendall Levrando out front, coming here to 5 laps to go. He has now about a second back to Jose Acosta. So really the battle at the moment is for that 6th place position. Chris Johnson and Gary Adamson. See Joey Preby also entering the fray. We haven't talked a whole lot about that 16. Has not shown a lot of speed tonight, which is quite surprising. Usually he's one that is in the fray. But I think he's been saving tires, trying to stay out of it. We've heard that before from him. We talked to him in some interviews that he's like, you know, I've kind of gotten to where I don't really race that hard in the first and second stage. My strategy is to really start the race in stage number 3. And I think that really has been working out for him. But it looks like he's definitely showing considerable long-run pace. He's right there on the back end of Gary Adamson now. So could he possibly get by him and Chris Johnson? As we come now, I do believe, to 3 laps remaining in stage number 2. Randy Mullins also catching up to now Kenny Powell. All these guys are catching Powell now. Here comes Preby. Preby to the inside, takes the apron into turn 1. He gets the pass completed before they enter one. Now going to see if he can't possibly get up to Chris Johnson. He moves up to 7th place. Here comes Randy Mullins to the inside of Powell. Powell running up at the top, gets incredibly close to the wall. This is going to give him a big run out of turn 3 or 4. Yep, Powell doing everything he can to try to defend that attack for that 4th place position. This has led, I do believe, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th right here. So this is a 4-car battle, 5-car battle for that 4th place position. Oh, problems! As there goes Johnson around. And he barely manages to avoid tagging the wall. We'll take a look back at this and see what happened here. I think we had some contact possibly with Joey Preby. Yeah, Joey Preby gets a little tight, catches the 48. And look at the expert driving so close to getting into that wall. What a fantastic save there for Chris Johnson. I guarantee you, though, he's not going to be too happy about that. Of course, this is the final, or should I say we've already crossed that final lap. Caution is out. That will complete stage number 2. Kendall Levrando, your stage 2 winner. Jose Acosta 2nd. Greg Wyszynski comes home 3rd. Kenny Powell in 4th. Randy Mullins 5th. Gary Adamson 6th. 7th, Joey Preby. 8th, Darren Mullins. 9th, Frank Flores. And 10th, Paul Olson. With that, we'll take another step away. We'll be right back with yours. Well, we won't talk to Kendall Levrando again. Let's talk to Jose Acosta. We'll be right back.
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Paid too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to RockAuto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
And we are back. We're going to be getting ready to talk to actually Greg Wachinski. I was not able to find Jose Acosta to speak with him. Of course, Wachinski has been one of the bigger movers here tonight. We're going to let him complete his pit stop here. And as soon as he gets off of pit road without a risk of speeding, we'll chat with him. It looks like he comes out, I think, in third. Hopefully he didn't get a speeding penalty there. I think Kenny Powell might have won the race off pit road. But let's grab up Mr. Wachinski. Greg Wachinski, Brian Britt up here in the booth. How you doing, man?
Good, Brian. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. It looks like you got a really good long run machine, don't you? I mean, you keep coming from farther back in the field. Of course, seems like you're playing a little bit more cautious than the rest of the field. What's the strategy here? Is that the plan to kind of save the tire?
Yeah, definitely. Just try to. Those first two stages, I just kind of saved them for 10, 15 laps, and then, you see the difference. You can really pick up some speed there at the end of the run.
Yeah, and it seems like that is very much working for you. I mean, of course, I would assume that is going to be the plan for this go around. It seems like there's more. It's like a balancing act, though, in order to make sure you do it properly, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to. Hope none of those guys are listening. I'm just going to try to push them a little bit here in the beginning. See if I can get them to try to have to drive a little harder, and maybe burn their tires up. While I'll just kind of still going to try to save my tires, but it's just such a feverish pace these guys run.
Yeah, they're definitely running really fast. Doesn't seem like there's any tire saving in mind for sure, but going to be trying to see if you can influence them. Of course, I see the pace car lights are out. Who would you like to give a shout out to before we let you get back to it?
Just G&G. You, of course, up there in the booth, working hard. ISCA, TWRS setups.
All righty. Well, thanks for your time, Greg, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All righty. That was Mr. Greg Wachinski, driver of the 5 Chevrolet. Of course, Kendall LeBron so far has won both Stage 1 and Stage 2. Here we go with Stage number 3. I want to give a quick reminder that this stage will feature possibly a green flag stop. Green flag is back out. Fuel window is 60 laps. And Jose Acosta with a really good start. Kenny Powell looks like he might have, I don't know if he started in the wrong gear, but just did not get going. And that, of course, held up, I do believe, Randy Mullins a bit. But now Powell is up to speed. Definitely a lot of pace coming out of that 24 machine at the moment. Paul Olsen, I think, just got into the wall. See him further back there. A little bit of scraping on that wall. So that's going to put him back, I do believe, into that last place position. Here comes Joey Prevey trying to possibly get by Darren Mullins. But Kendall LeBron has led this parade thus far. Randy Mullins, I think, just got by Kenny Powell to move up into third. And we talked to Wachinski. He mentioned that he was going to try to push these guys faster than they want to go to try to burn their equipment up. Of course, I think if I was these guys, I think pit road, when I would pit under green, would probably be around, I would say about 115. Side by side for the lead. A little bit of door banging there as Jose Acosta tries to take it. And I think he might have it as he uses the bottom line. LeBron not giving up yet, though. Still side by side entering turn 1. I think Jose got clear that time. He slides up in front of LeBron. LeBron's going to cross him over. They're blocking each other down the track. Oh, and there goes Jose, almost spinning. A little bit of a contact there to the rear end. I don't think Kendall appreciates that block from the 42. But maybe not too happy about that. But Jose Acosta, even with that little bit of a contact, does grab the lead. Now Kendall falling back into third possibly with Randy Mullins pouncing on that second place spot. Also, you see Kenny Powell. These guys are like a bunch of piranha, and they haven't been fed in a while. But here comes LeVron. LeVron not done. You see Mullins is really pinching the 28 down. This could end up with some fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. There's a fireworks. Powell puts him into the outside wall. Huge hit. That is going to be a bad deal for Kendall LeVron. Missing now, the front end caution flag is out. We're going to have to take another look. Taking another look here, of course, you see Randy Mullins was really pinching LeVron down quite a bit off these corners. You can see LeVron was not too happy with that. Of course, he entered quite shallow in 1 and 2. Yeah, that's not a very good view. Let's take a different angle. This will be a better angle, a little bit more of a far chase. But you can see that there was just not a lot of room. Randy was pinching him down quite substantially. And I think LeVron thought the door was open for him to come down or come up in front of Powell. But Powell was already there, unfortunately. Huge hit on the front end there. Gary Adamson heavily involved. See Adamson right here. This is where the majority of, I think, damage came from for LeVron. Right there. Boom! That was quite a substantial hit to the front end of the 36. Took the front bumper completely off of LeVron. And, of course, that brings out the yellow flag. With that, we'll take a quick step away. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you're just joining us, you are watching the ISCA Saturday Cup Series here at Kansas Speedway. We just saw an accident. Kendall LeVron, of course, kind of coming up, trying to occupy his space that just wasn't there. Kenny Powell was already in that position, and unfortunately, Kendall LeVron turned himself into the outside wall, and Gary Adamson picks up heavy damage as a result as well after the crash. Luckily for Adamson, he is still on the lead lap. Kendall LeVron, though, the same thing could not be said for him, as he is now 2 laps down after that heavy hit. But here we go. Green flag back out in the air. Jose Acosta, now your leader. Of course, so sad for LeVron, winning both stage 1 and 2. Now, essentially, I'd say out of the race. Side by side for second place. Greg Luchinsky trying to take advantage. Chris Johnson, almost some door banging there out of 2. Johnson taking advantage, moves up to third place. Kenny Powell up on the top. he secures 4th. And I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, my voice is starting to hurt. So I will give my voice a little bit of a rest if you don't mind. And as soon as something happens, I will pipe up. But for now, we're going to go turn it up or crank it up session here for the ISCA. Appreciate y'all letting me take a little bit of a moment there to rest my voice. Of course, Jose Acosta and Randy Mullins have pulled away from the rest of the field now, about a second and a half in between them and third place. Of course, Greg Wychinski, we saw just get by Kenny Powell. Now is, I do believe, going to be working possibly on getting by Chris Johnson. Greg Wychinski, of course, has had significant long-run pace. Also, I think Darren Mullins is looking the best he has all night long. Joey Preby, though, also right there in the mix as well. Gary Adamson trying to get by Derek Jacobs. Jacobs seems like he's struggling a little bit with that race car. Of course, was looking very fast, I'd say, in the short run. I think Jacobs has got a really fast car. Really loose there, though. You can definitely tell when the tires start to wear, Jacobs just does not have as good a handling, so he's going to have to really work on possibly saving those tires better. We are getting closer and closer to the edge of the fuel window. Of course, we mentioned it before, that is 60 laps. But here comes, I do believe, Frank Flores, going to possibly be moving up into the top 10, maybe even 9th as he goes up the top. He takes the top and probably going to get by Derek Jacobs here. Darren Mullins, though, moves up to the top. Battling now with Joey Preby. Preby side by side for that 6th place position. Oh, contact between the two. Joey Preby and Darren Mullins not getting along very well, and I don't think we've seen the end of this. Mullins all the way on his rear end right now. Big, aggressive move to the inside of Preby, and he's going to slide right up in front. I think Preby's going to have an opportunity probably for a slide job here. Darren Mullins loose. This is causing them to fall back here. Still side by side. Mullins getting tight almost into the door of the 16. This could be where we see possibly a caution. These guys are not getting along very well, I don't believe. Oh, they're getting so close to one another. Doors touching almost. If someone was sitting in Darren Mullins' passenger seat, they could reach out and probably shake Joey Preby's hand. But Preby looks like he has gotten the pass completed, but for how long? Darren Mullins not going to be giving up here. And this is also bringing Gary Adamson back into the fray. And, of course, Adamson, I'm surprised that he is as competitive as he is with how hard of a hit he gave to Kendall LeBron. But Jose Acosta in the lead. Are starting to see some battling here, as I do believe Greg Wychinski has actually gotten by Chris Johnson. Also, Kenny Powell trying to see if he can't do the same. He's running up on the top side, and he does. He moves up back into 4th place. Of course, Powell, I do believe, started this race in 3rd. Wychinski has over 2 seconds to get up there to Randy Mullins, who's in 2nd place. Of course, Mullins has been on Jose Acosta's rear end for quite a bit of time. Here comes Kenny Powell to the inside. Slide job on Wychinski. Now, I know that Wychinski and Powell are really good friends, but they also do have a little bit of on-track history. These guys a lot of times will touch, and not in the friendly way. Looks like Powell definitely has figured out a little bit better on how to save tire, possibly. We are in the fuel window, so these guys can pit any time, but I don't think they will very soon. These guys now have 30 laps on their tires. Of course, Darren Mullins, I do believe, has only 21. So that's a little bit of an interesting difference here. I'm surprised it's not equating better lap times, it seems, from Darren Mullins. Of course, in the longer run, I think it might, but I think he might have already burned his stuff up. Even if you have fresher tires, they're not necessarily fresher if you drive the car hard you drive it too hard, you're going to be pretty much right where everybody else is. Jose Acosta now, about 4/10 is his lead. Ever since Kendall LeBron had his issue, he has been dominating thus far. Of course, car now in clean air. I'm sure that's probably helping him save tire. These guys are catching up to them quite quickly, actually, because we see Jose Acosta and Randy Mullins. They're starting to get caught by Kenny Powell, Greg Wyszynski, and Chris Johnson. Now, we always talk about it. Oh, a little touch there on the wall from Wyszynski. We always talk about if a driver by themselves gets out to a big lead, that they're going to probably end up getting caught because they're burning their tires up. But I feel like those two are kind of doing the same thing, but instead of just being one car, it's two cars. I feel like Randy Mullins and Jose Acosta are driving a little bit beyond what they should be, which is allowing possibly Kenny Powell and company to catch them. I don't know. It's starting to go seesaw a little bit the other direction. And a lot of that could even be down to the fact that Powell sees that he's catching these guys. And a lot of times when you see you're catching somebody, you drive it even harder. It's almost like, I've always called it a carrot on a stick mentality. You see those drivers, you kind of closing in on them, you start to drive it harder. You see some lap traffic. Derek Jacobs now 2 laps down. I think he might have just went down pit road. Yep, Jacobs has pitted, so he is on fresh tires now. A little early for my blood, but of course that car was not handling well, so I think he did it out of necessity. Of course, we're about 35 laps into the run for a lot of these drivers out here, so I would suspect possibly in the next 20 laps, maybe 15, somewhere in there, we're going to probably see green flag stopped. And we saw multiple different strategies on Thursday. A lot of guys went later. A lot of guys went early. Of course, the person that ended up winning the race was Josh Schaffner, but that was as a result. Of course, we did see green flag stops, but the thing about it is we saw a caution during the green flag stops. If that happens here, that will change everything, just like it changed everything on Thursday. But Kenny Powell now 1.5, 1.6 seconds back from Jose Acosta, but he is now less than a second back from Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins is starting to fall off a cliff. And we talked about that before. We talked about that in stage 1, where Mullins was really fast short run, really good long run, but in that center portion, that middle part of the run, he starts to struggle. And I think he's in that poor period again. Derek Jacobs, I do believe, is going to be at a fight to get his lap back. See the new tires really helping him out. Chris Johnson getting passed by Joey Preby. Preby now up into the 5th place position. I think this is the first time he's been in the top 5 tonight. I think we're coming up on 50 laps to go this next time by. Powell has pretty much caught up to Randy Mullins, now only separated by 0.3 of a second. So you can tell Randy Mullins definitely is falling off of a cliff here. The car is just not handling the way he probably prefers it to. Also, might even have some trouble here with lap cars. Of course, Derek Jacobs on the fresher tires is trying desperately to get by Jose. But Jose does not seem to want to let him go. Derek Jacobs running all the way at the top of the fence. Jose goes up the block. If I was Jose, I would just let him go because he's on fresher tires. But we saw also when Derek Jacobs' tires started getting worn, he started having issues. But I think Jacobs might have him now. Yep, Derek Jacobs has got one of his laps back. Darren Mullins, I think, just went down pit road as well. Yep, Darren Mullins has had a stop as well. He only went one lap down, so I think Derek Jacobs might have made a mistake on pit road to put him to have to fight to get one of those back. But Jose Acosta now with over a second lead. Of course, Kenny Powell has gotten by Randy Mullen. Randy Mullins now falls back to 6th place. Joey Preby has gotten by him as well, up to 4th. Chris Johnson up to 5th. Preby is starting to come on strong right now. He is starting to put some pressure on Wachinski. Here he goes to the inside. Wachinski getting a little bit tight in the middle of 3 and 4. As we're now 120 laps in. Green flag stop should be happening for a lot of these drivers very soon. Chris Johnson taking advantage of Preby getting by Wachinski. I think he's going to get that pass completed. No, Wachinski's going to get the run on the exit. This is close. Wow, Wachinski touching the wall a little bit there. Sure, Wachinski not too happy about Chris Johnson slamming the door on him. But, I mean, that's the nature of racing here at Kansas. Here comes Joey Preby. I mean, this is that 16 is a where did he come from driver tonight. Ran outside of the top 5 all night long, and now here he is up in 3rd, chasing down 2nd place. I don't know if he was just not showing his hand earlier or what, because he is definitely showing it now. Looking very fast in that 16 machine. Kenny Powell up the racetrack, getting a little bit tight here. This is going to allow Preby to get a really good run out of 2. He comes right up to the back bumper of Powell, trying to set up possibly a pass into 3. Not quite able to get there in that Ford. Might be able to set one up into 1. You have to build a run, though. It's somewhat difficult to pass here at Kansas, just considering as the race goes on, the tires start to wear the top groove is where you really want to be. It looks like Powell's still running that middle line. I don't like that line. I feel like that's hurting him. Powell just cannot seem to stay on the bottom. See a little bit of a wiggle off the corner. They are catching up to Jose, though. That's one thing that I will say. Jose now less than a second is the lead. I think Jose's starting to struggle. But here comes Preby. To the inside, battle for 2nd place. If I was Jose, I would think about pitting right now. Look at Preby wrapping around the bottom. He's got a fast race car. He slides right up in front of Powell, takes over 2nd. Now he's going to see if he can't possibly chase down Jose Acosta as we're coming up, I do believe, on 41 to go, soon to be 40 laps to go. And these guys are 48 laps into their run. So if I'm coming down pit road, now is the time. If you're going to wait a little bit longer, I think you're waiting too long. Joey Preby still catching Jose. Now 7/10 is the lead. Darren Mullins, of course, who pitted a little bit earlier, has gone down, or is now in 6th. Randy Mullins just pitted recently. He's back now to 7th. Greg Wachinski just pitted as well. He's in 8th. Gary Adamson, 9th. Paul Olson, 10th. So most of the field has pitted except for, I think, the top 4 now. I think Chris Johnson just came down as well. Just got into his box. So these guys are waiting quite a bit of time to come down pit road here. So top 3 right now are right here on top of each other. Joey Preby now a 10th back from Jose. Jose is struggling. course, most of the race, Jose has been running in dirty air. He's into the wall. This could be a pass for the lead here. Oh, look, Preby takes the opportunity to go down pit road. So that leaves Jose Acosta and Kenny Powell still on the track. Of course, Frank Flores as well. He's about 7 seconds back now in third place. And here comes Kenny Powell. He's decided to pit. So Jose waiting as long as he possibly can here. I think this is going to bite him in the rear. I don't think this is going to work. Those guys were really catching him, so that means he was struggling. I feel like him waiting is not going to help him. If his car wasn't struggling, I would say it would help. But I don't think this is going to help him. I think he might be coming down this time. You see me slowing down a little bit here. Yep, coming down pit road. Frank Flores. Looks like Randy Mullins takes his lap back along with Darren Mullins. Frank Flores misses pit road. He was trying to come down pit road, but was not able to get the car to turn. So he's going to have to stay out one more lap. Still is the leader, but he is going to lose a lot of time as a result. Randy Mullins, I think when all is said and done, will be the leader. Of course, Jose is going to have the freshest tires in the field. I think Kenny Powell might have had a... No, he's not that far back. I don't think he had the best pit stop, though, that's for sure. Jose just coming off of pit road right there. He goes a lap down. Frank Flores still on the racetrack. When is he going to come down pit road? I think he's just gambling right now. I think he realizes that I need a caution in order to not go a lap down here or more. I think he might even go 2 laps down here because he's waited so long to pit. Looks like Darren Mullins just lost a spot to Greg Wachinski. Wachinski moves up into third, which I think is net going to be second. Of course, Darren Mullins did pit quite early. Darren Mullins is on 18 laps while Greg Wachinski is on 8-lap tires. But I'll tell you who's on fresher tires than even Wachinski is Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson trying to see if he can't get by Mullins here. Moves up to the top lane. And it looks like Frank Flores has come down pit road, making Randy Mullins the leader. Of course, Wachinski is catching up to Mullins. He's on a little bit fresher tires, I do believe. Well, I don't know. Last time by, it looks like Greg's losing a little bit of time. And if Greg and Chris start battling for that second spot, that could help out Randy Mullins a little bit. Of course, Kenny Powell racing very hard with Joey Preby at the moment. That is for that 5th spot. It looks like Powell slides right underneath the 16. It's going to get a little bit loose here. He definitely took a little bit of a narrow entry, but it looks like he's going to be able to make that pass and moves up to 5th. Of course, he's I think a little under 2 seconds back from Darren Mullins. Darren Mullins is on much older tires, though. Jose Acosta, who pitted from the lead. I think he's the one that I think it cost him the most. That extra lap he stayed out, I think, cost him some time. He was very good in dirty air, though, so watch out for this guy. If he can get into his comfort zone, I think he might be someone that these guys are going to have a tough time dealing with. If he can get into the picture, he is about 5.6 seconds back from the leader, Randy Mullins. Looks like Chris Johnson has taken over second. He gets by Wachinski. Now he has the tall task of possibly catching up to Randy Mullins, who's still over 2 seconds ahead. We are, I do believe, 30 laps to go here, coming up to 29. If I was Wachinski and Chris Johnson, I would try my best to work together here. Otherwise, we're not going to catch them, or catch him, I should say, Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins is, of course, on 15-lap old tires, while Chris Johnson's on 12. Greg Wachinski's on 14. Here comes Kenny Powell and Joey Preby. I believe Kenny Powell's going to be moving up to 4th place. Powell is on some of the freshest tires in the field. Let's take a look at lap times here. Randy Mullins last time by, even though he's on some of the older tires, is running some of the fastest laps on the track. Powell, of course, running really fast laps as well, but the fastest was Jose Acosta, as Acosta's actually catching up quite quickly. So I told you, that 42, he's fast in the draft. I feel like his car wasn't handling as well in the clean air, but you give him a little bit of a draft, a little bit of dirty air, I think that car starts to come alive. So he is catching up quickly to the back end of Joey Preby. Will he get back to the lead? That's a different story, I do believe. I think now's the perfect time while we have a little bit of a, well, I don't know. I think it might be able to break off here in a second. Preby and Jose are catching up quickly to Powell. See Derek Jacobs in the picture. Of course, now I do believe going a lap down. Look at Jose all the way down there to the grass. Jose trying to see if he can't possibly get the run on exit of 2, and I think he does, side by side with Preby for 5th, and he takes it. So now Jose going to be looking to see if he can't get up to the 24. Of course, he's still about 3 seconds back from the leader, Randy Mullins. Chris Johnson has been catching up to Randy Mullins, though. He's about 1.4 seconds back now. Last time we looked, he was about 2 seconds back. So I think Chris Johnson definitely has the pace to possibly catch up. But I think by the end of this race, we're going to have a whole lot of chances for some guys to win. Greg Wachinski's also getting caught by Powell. So we have about, I do believe, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Are all fairly close to each other here. Pit stops split them up. Of course, racing will bring them back together as Powell goes to the inside. Going to try to see if he can't take away 3rd from the 5, and it looks like he's going to be able to do it. Greg Wachinski holding strong on the top, though, but I think Powell has gotten it. Chris Johnson now 8 tenths back from Mullins. We talked about Mullins. I've talked about this several times tonight. that Mullins has really good short run pace, and he also has good long run pace. But he's in that mid portion once again, and he's getting caught quickly by Chris Johnson. I have to believe that Randy Mullins right now is probably sweating his butt off, probably worried and looking at the relative, knowing that the 48 and everybody else behind him is coming. Coming up here to 20 laps to go here in the RockAuto 250. Half a second pretty much separating Randy Mullins and Chris Johnson. Johnson, I don't think, has led a lap here tonight. Could he win the race? It's definitely a distinct possibility, but I think the 24 and the 42 definitely have something to say about that. Less than half a second now in between first and second place. Johnson closing in quickly, 3/10 now. But we did see earlier, the closer you get to the back of that race car in front, the more that car starts to misbehave. But I think Chris Johnson has fresh enough tires to overcome that. But does he have fresh enough tires to overcome Kenny Powell, who has caught up to his back bumper? Top three right on top of each other. Jose Acosta also entering the fray. Here comes Chris Johnson to the inside to take the lead. Kenny Powell going to take a 3-1 on the top. 3-1 for just a moment. Johnson does take the lead. Randy Mullins tries to cross him over. Kenny Powell takes it 3-1 to the bottom. Looks like Randy Mullins just does not have the tires to maintain that. Chris Johnson comes out on top for now. Look at Jose. Jose is coming. And I think this might be why Jose waited that extra lap, but I still don't feel like that was worth it. But we're going to have to wait and see. Oh, contact there with Randy Mullins and him. They're connected. This brings Preby into it. Preby going to see if he can't take advantage. And he is going to move up into fourth. Randy Mullins now back to fifth. From the leader to fifth place. Kenny Powell, while we were watching that, has taken the lead. Has a 0.2 of a second lead here as we're coming up quickly to, I do believe, 17 to go. Or should I say 16 to go. What an exciting race here at Kansas. These guys are putting together quite the show for us out there. We appreciate y'all taking a look at the ISCA. Of course, comment down below. Who do you think is going to win this thing? My money right now is on Kenny Powell. But then again, Jose, I think, is a threat. Joey Preby is also a threat. But the more I think they race with Chris Johnson, the better this is going to be for Powell. Joey Preby catching up to the back of the 42. A little bit of a wiggle off of corner number 4 from Chris Johnson. Here comes Jose to the bottom. Oh, he's getting loose on entry. Maintaining momentum, but not able to get side by side with Johnson. What does Preby do in this situation? 15 laps to go, coming up to 14 to go. Powell with a half a second lead, side by side for second. I am biting my nails, ladies and gentlemen, on the edge of my seat. Who is going to win this race? All compasses point to Kenny Powell right now, but things could change in a matter of seconds. We know Powell can get loose. We saw it on Thursday. 3 wide for second here, I do believe. Oh, that was close. Almost 3 wide for second. I tell you what, if Powell sees a caution, he is not going to be happy. But Chris Johnson has been doing everything right to keep the 3rd, 4th, and 5th back there. Jose Acosta all the way up to the fence. Going to get a good run off of turn 2. But here comes Preby to the inside of the 48. He's going to send it in. This has got to be music to Kenny's ears to seal a little bit of contact. That's not music to his ears. as Chris Johnson and Preby banging doors across the front stretch. 3 wide for second. And Jose Acosta slides up in front of Preby. What a move for the 42. Oh, he cuts off the 48. Now, of course, Chris Johnson and Jose Acosta have had a history. 7/10 is Kenny Powell's lead. 8/10 as the battling still is happening. Joey Preby sign drafting Jose. These guys have elbows out. They're not giving each other any room right now, especially on the front stretch, even though a lot of times when you go on that front stretch, a lot of times guys assume that the bottom line is going to go to the apron, but these guys are not doing that. They're like, nope, I'm a side drafting you. Ooh, that's close. Joey Preby is getting really close to the rear end of the 42. I hope he buys him dinner first. Goodness gracious. 10 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Powell with now a second lead as Preby and Jose fight for second. This is probably what Kenny... Oh, more contact. I can't even get the words out of my mouth, ladies and gentlemen. Jose, though, gets the pass completed, but I don't think this is over. The more they battle, though, the better this looks for Kenny Powell, unless they wreck each other, which is quite a possibility. If they wreck each other, caution will come out, and that would allow, I think, everybody to go down and get a fresh set of tires. I do believe, I do also want to mention Gary Adamson. I do believe just made a pass for the 7th place position. Able to get by Darren Mullins, who falls back to 8th. Paul Olson's right in this battle as well. Paul Olson's battling with Darren Mullins right now, trying to move up to 8th place. They are still dueling for second place. This is racing if I've ever seen it. Coming to 7 laps to go. These guys are not giving up second. I think they need to understand that the more they battle, the more Kenny Powell gets away. Little contact there. Preby gives a nudge to the 42. You can tell Preby is kind of upset at the moment. Ooh, contact with the wall there from Greg Wachinski in the rear drop, in the back drop. That gives Randy Mullins 5th. I wish these guys would realize that Kenny Powell is getting away because we're battling each other so hard. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of drivers have that temporary mindset. These guys definitely are falling victim to that temptation. They only care about second place, it seems to be. And this is also bringing Chris Johnson right back into the fray as well, as these guys have been trading second place a ton. This is going to end with a contact and a wreck. I have a feeling. These guys are just not giving each other room. They're being so aggressive against one another. I just hope and pray that Chris Johnson's not involved. A lot of times he is the one that does seem to be the victim, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Kenny Powell, though, 1.7 seconds is his lead. But this is where the battle has been taking place. What a fight this has been between Jose Acosta and Joey Preby. Look at that. Jose is just... I think if he got to his bumper, I don't think he's lifting. I don't think he... Oh, contact again. This is going to end with both of these guys going off the track. And we are in that zone as well, that if a caution comes out here, green, white, checkered. Oh, there goes Jose. More contact. These guys have had contact almost every single lap. That's Chris Johnson. He's going to enter it too. Now, this is a lot of times, you know, adding more to this whole scenario, this whole equation is not going to help anything. Oh, more contact. Chris Johnson into the 16. These guys are playing bumper cars out here in Kansas. Coming up 3 laps to go. Do we make it there? White flag has to come out in order for this race to be over without a green-white checker. Kenny Powell now out to 2 seconds, over 2 seconds. If a caution comes out now, I have a feeling that Kenny Powell would be cursing whoever brought that caution's name out. Still the battle for second place, heating up. Chris Johnson, I think, has kind of relented a little bit. He's like, I don't want to get involved in this, but I think he's possibly going to have to in order for him to get a position or get up in the podium. These guys are not done. Preby is all over the back of the 42. Can we make it to the white flag? Kenny Powell hoping and praying that they make it. Here comes Preby to the inside, still fat, vying for second. Preby slides up in front of Jose. I do believe we do get the white flag, though. White flag is out. Next flag will end it. No matter what happens, Kenny Powell is going to win this race. Jose Acosta slides up in front of the 16. This is the battle for second. This could end up in blows. This could end up with Chris Johnson finishing in second if these guys wreck each other. Look at the block from the 16. These guys have their gloves off. This is a battle that could end in contact as they come to the line. And Joey Preby finishes in second place. Somehow, these guys were racing each other so hard. I don't think, Jose not happy with the 16, the way he was racing him. Oh, contact there. Chris Johnson comes up and lays out the 16. So definitely some bad blood here at Kansas. But enough of that. Kenny Powell, your victor. Kenny Powell, the winner here tonight. Joey Preby finishes in second. Jose Acosta in third. Fourth place, Chris Johnson. Fifth place, Randy Mullins. Sixth place, Greg Wachinski. Seventh, Gary Adamson. Eighth, Darren Mullins. Ninth, Paul Olson. 10th, Frank Flores. Of course, rounding out this 12-car field is Derek Jacobs and Kendall LeVron. Kenny Powell burning it down. He definitely deserves this one. What a fantastic performance for the 24. Able to be in the right place at the right time, pitted at the right time as well, and avoided the melee that was behind him. He's definitely not going to take them tires home with him. Those seats are going to be melted by the time he's done burning it down out here, ladies and gentlemen. But with that, we'll go ahead and take a brief step away. We'll be right back with our post-race show.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel tough, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
I used to have to go in to the auto parts store. Pay too much, never find quite what I'm looking for. Now I just go online to RockAuto and see all the parts my car will ever need. Lower prices, more parts, more brands. It's so easy to find the right parts fast. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto. All the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And what a fantastic finish that was, especially for second place. First off, we're going to be joined in the booth by Jose Acosta. How you doing tonight, Jose?
You got me.
Yeah, I got you, man. What a battle between you and Joey Preview. I mean, you guys were going at it for the last several laps. I mean, that was some of the craziest racing I think I've seen in quite a while. Walk us through what was going on there. Was there animosity there, or were you guys just racing hard?
Oh, we were racing hard. I was having fun, to be honest. I mean, every time I had a run, I was just going for it, and that's actually how I was racing tonight, basically.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it. I mean, you had a really good, strong race car as well. I mean, you led a lot of laps. Once Kendall LeBron had his issues and was kind of out of the race, it seemed like you kind of took over from there. But it seemed like right before the green flag stops, your car started handling a little bit poorly. Could you have done anything different? What was going on there?
I think it had to do with clean air. Once I got that clean air, I was actually uh, going pretty good. Still, who was it? 64, 54 catch me. I think he passed me anyway, so he did really good. And then Kendall was actually fast, so I was actually trying to stay behind him and see, if I can do anything in the long run. But then unfortunately he had that incident. So basically that gave us, a better chance to the top three.
Yeah, you definitely earned this top three here. I even think you possibly could have won the race. I mean, you had a lot of speed. I think one thing, I know you were having a lot of fun with Joey Preview, and I hate to kind of go out of pocket a little bit here, but I feel like if you and Joey maybe had figured it out and kind of not battled so much, Kenny wouldn't have gotten away. You were on the freshest tires, I do believe. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Maybe so. Maybe I messed up, trying to fight it out with them. But once I caught up to them, um, I felt like they were not trying to let me by either. I don't know if we were gonna catch him either, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. I should have waited, and maybe we had a better chance at the end.
Well, hindsight's always 2020, and like you said, they were racing you just as hard as you were racing them. But it was so much fun to watch. I mean, even though Kenny won this race, I mean, we didn't see him cross the start finish line for the victory because we were watching you guys up here in the booth. So great racing for sure. Of course, next week, I mean, this is a hard track, but next week is the hardest track on the NASCAR circuit, Darlington. How you feel about that place?
Uh, I feel like Kansas, in a way, it's getting me ready for Darlington
Yeah, I
in a
can
way
see that.
because we actually ride the high side, and then on Darlington, that's basically what we have to do. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? I just gotta, show up and see what's up.
Yeah, you definitely showed up here tonight for sure, leading some laps, getting some good points for sure. I mean, you got a lot of stage points, led 50 laps. But I mean, Darlington, I think that's going to be a good place for you. Can't wait to see what Pandoretta Racing looks like there for sure. Congratulations again, and definitely impressed by that battle you guys put on. Who can we give a shout out to, Jose?
Yeah, just a shout out to you guys, to you in the booth. You had to work tonight by yourself, right?
That's right.
And for the league and Pandereta Racing Team, John Deere, um, and that's it.
All
And
right.
top three, yeah.
Well, great job, Jose. Can't wait to see what you do at Darlington. I know that's a place that takes a lot of talent, and I know you got a lot of talent, so can't wait to see what that looks like, Jose. Congratulations.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, that was Jose Acosta, our third place finisher. Next up is the other part of the battle that we were watching for the last several laps. Joey Preby. Whoa! I mean, that was a battle and a half, buddy. I mean, how you feeling?
I feel good. I got second out of it and managed to finish clean. Didn't spin out or anything, and feel good with a top five, top three. Exciting racing and hopefully exciting to watch.
Yeah, it definitely was very exciting to watch. You guys made it. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time at the end there, and I'm sure Kenny was probably smiling from ear to ear, like, "Please don't wreck." But this is great, because you guys were really racing each other a lot and allowing him to pull away. But one thing I do want to mention is you started in 10th. I mean, I think you were probably the biggest mover, if I'm not mistaken. Just consider, I mean, you were like not really in our rate on our radar for the first two stages. We didn't see a whole lot of you. What was that about? Was that on purpose? What was going on?
So I haven't even tested the setup until lap one. I think was the first lap I put on this set. Just practice and stuff and driving. So first two stages I was just trying to get used to the setup. Like the first stage killed the wheels and couldn't do anything, and I got into some trouble there and kind of got back up on stage two, but fell back on pit stops, and I don't know. I was just trying to keep it clean and just hang back, um, and just let it naturally work itself out that I could get up to the front.
Well, definitely seemed like it worked. I mean, so the first two stages were kind of like your testing session, if you will, and you were ready to go by the end of the stage. It definitely looked like you had a really fast hot rod underneath you for sure. Talk us more about the battling between you and Jose. I mean, he said that it was all in good fun. How do you feel about it?
Oh yeah, I agree with Jose. It's it was all in fun, good fun and just having fun, just driving, just enjoying being on the track and turning left and just racing hard. I feel like it's we were at the point like we kind of got held up with some lap traffic. I think. Well, I don't think might have been able to catch Kenny, but I don't know. It was just kind of fun to just battle it out there and try to get it. I didn't know, what was gonna happen or anything with like catching him. Kenny, so I was just like, I'll battle it out, and it was a lot of 2 lane, top and bottom, couple slide jobs and drafting and all that. So just made it fun. I hope to do that kind of battle every other race. Hopefully, some races I'm just out fun and able to drive away, but it's fun to battle.
Yeah, that was the definition of a battle there. You guys were door banging, like you said, throwing slide jobs. It was awesome to watch. Not going to be maybe more slide jobs but Darlington next week. It's more of a center. One groove track. Of course, you can go side by side, but it's a little bit more. Takes a lot more courage. How do you feel about Darlington?
I feel good about Darlington. I think if I have the same patience at the start of the race and throughout the race that heal that they'll that I the same patience I had heal they'll I think I'll end up having a good finish. Just being patient and not killing the tires or anything, and just I'll hopefully get up front and have a chance to win.
All right. Well, you definitely look like you had a lot of speed here in that 16 machine. Came up from 10th all the way up to second. Great job to you for sure. Can't wait to see what you bring to us at Darlington. Hopefully, you and Jose battle like you did here tonight. Maybe we'll see a legendary finish like Darlington is usually known to give. Well, after that, who could we give a shout out to, Joey?
Everyone at Leica Motorsports for the setup and sim seats for the simulator, helping me buy that and walking me through the process, and you guys for the broadcast and great podcast, and Kenny for putting together the league.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Joey. We'll see you next week at Darlington, bud. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Alrighty, that was Joey Preby, driver of the 16 machine. Definitely a great job to him. What a fantastic battle from him and Jose Acosta, got to admit. But the man that left probably smiling ear to ear, Kenny Powell, I mean, what a performance. You led 25 laps. I mean, you didn't win either of the stages, but you came up victorious at the end. How you feeling?
Smiling ear to ear, like you said, that feels great to be back in victory lane. It's just it was good it was a fun night. Beginning, in, and yeah, really enjoyed it.
And it's got to be quite a redemption story, I'd say, for you in a lot of ways. Just considering, I mean, you had a lot of issues on Thursday, but you come here. What was the difference in your mindset? What did you change the car at all to maybe make it to where you wouldn't have those issues, or what was the difference?
Um, I mean, I had more track time between Thursday and Saturday. I made some very minor changes to the car, but yeah, just got 3 races under my belt in between then and now, and felt really good with the car, and just knew that I love Kansas. Actually, Kansas is probably, I think, my most winningest track. One here more than anywhere. Um, so it's kind of fitting. I don't know why. I don't particularly think, in my mind that this is my best. And I don't, when I come here, I don't think that, oh, this is my best track. I'm going to, put out end up in victory lane or whatever. But I do like it. Um, and so my mindset coming in was, I felt more confident because I had more time with the car. And I just knew I'd be there, somewhere in the top 5, if not podium, if not where I am.
Now I noticed in the earlier portions of the race, like stage 1 and 2, I noticed you were kind of running more towards the middle groove. Were you having problems keeping on the bottom? It seemed like you might have been burning your tires up a little bit more. Did you adjust maybe your driving habits in the last stage in order to avoid that?
Well, I made some changes mid race. I was definitely a little bit still too loose getting off the corner. So I tightened it up just a little bit. Um, and also later in the run, I started running more of the middle because yeah, I was too loose in the very bottom down there.
Well, that's interesting because I was curious if that was maybe running in the middle was causing you to have difficulty. So it just was getting really loose on the bottom. I mean, you did see you also kind of progress to the top sometimes as well. So it seemed like the car was handling well, and of course you were able to drive away from the rest of those guys, and had a really good pit strategy as well. Congratulations on the win, of course. Next week, a win there you have to earn. I mean, I'm not saying you didn't earn tonight. You definitely earned this win tonight. But a win at Darlington, those don't come easy at all. Kansas, I mean, of course, is a tough track as well. But I mean, that's the track too tough to tame. I mean, they call it the Lady in Black. I mean, it's not an easy track, and the reason a lot of people were like, "Oh, Brian, you're biased against Darlington because I live near Darlington." But I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody realizes that Darlington is one of the hardest tracks on the NASCAR schedule. How are you going to tackle it? What is going to be your strategy?
If I go in there with a calm attitude, I normally come out with a pretty good finish. So just can't get myself, can't be scared of the track. Just got to drive the track, not everybody else, and just be patient with it. And I think if we have long green flags, that you know I'll do pretty well. So looking forward to it this time. Sometimes Darlington's definitely not my best track, and it's kind of a I never know what it's going to be before I get there. But I just I have a good feeling this season, so I'm excited about going to Darlington this time.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If you're scared of that track, she'll chew you up and spit you out. That's for sure. And it's just almost like a dog. They can sense fear. Darlington, I think, is that same way. But we wish you the best of luck, Kenny. Congratulations on the victory here. Definitely going to help you out quite a bit. I say in the points. I think you're actually second, if I'm not mistaken, in the Cup Series points, and definitely going to help you out in the Super points as well. Who can we give a shout out to after this big victory here at Kansas?
Little tongue-in-cheek shout out to Chris Severa's boss for keeping him at work. I'm not sure that that is the reason he's not here, but miss him tonight. But it was a good win, good race. Missed him. Shout out to TWRS. Kenny Copeland put together a great set. Running that set, it's awesome. Guys at G&G, and of course you in the booth, and everybody that races with us. We need more. If you're in earshot of what I'm saying, then look me up. iRacingStockCarAssociation.com and come race with us.
100%. You could also find him on the lead directory. Look up iRacing Stock Car Association on there and send an application, or like I said, just reach out on the iRacing Stock Car Association website. And appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate you as well, Kenny Powell. Congratulations, and we'll see you at Darlington next week.
Alrighty. Here.
Alrighty, that was Kenny Powell, our winner here tonight. Of course, congratulations to Joey Preby and Jose Acosta for putting on a fantastic performance as well. And also to Chris Johnson. He was right there in the mix as well. He could have easily got up into the podium. Do want to give him a good shout-out for sure. Definitely want to give a big shout-out to Kendall Levron. I mean, he won both Stage 1 and Stage 2 and unfortunately had a big accident that caused him early exit to the event. And shout-out to all the rest of the drivers that showed up, of course, and big shout out to everybody that tuned in. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you tune in on Thursday. Of course, we'll be at Darlington. The track too tough to tame. That 1.33 mile racetrack. Scary. It's a scary track. I'm glad I'm up here in the booth for sure. Can't wait to see what those guys do when tackling it. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of guys hitting the wall. A lot like what we saw here tonight, but it's going to be a whole lot more unavoidable. That is for sure. Of course, the broadcast starts at 9:15. Race starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, same place on Saturday back at Darlington with these same cast of characters. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you next time. This has been the ISCA Saturday Cup Series.